Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast and World of Paws again.
Yes, in today's podcast we're discussing our excitement for the long-awaited second season of Tiger and Bunny.
Yes.
Bunny!
We've been waiting too long for this, but now it has been confirmed.
Yes, confirmed.
The first season ended back in 2011 and left a cliffhanger, leaving fans like us wondering what could possibly happen next. And then in 2019, the series finally got confirmed for a second season due to popular fan demand, like ours. So now we're eagerly waiting for the new season in 2022. And today we're going to talk about hopefully what we have to look forward to for this new season.
Right. Now we know the show was
But
still...
Before we start...
Oh yeah, that's right. Thanks.
Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for updates on future podcasts and World of Paws information.
Yes. So for this one, we don't know what the storyline is going to be yet for season 2. All you know is probably going to involve Ouroboros, because we saw eventually online, because Netflix took out all but one of the extra credit scenes. There were scenes after the end credits that would preview the next episode and give you an epilogue clip. And we only saw one when they brought back the show on Netflix.
Yes. Netflix.
Yes. They brought it back, but they took out all the advertisers on this and have to pay for them to be on there. And then they took out the Pepsi commercial Blue Rose did, and they took out the preview and the epilogue clip. So whatever useful information you need for the next episode or for the next season, it was already taken out. Right. So we ended up finding this out online that there was supposed to be this dollar bill someone had that is whatever the currency is for Stern bill. It fell in the water, and then within the dollar itself, with the little watermark to prove that it's valid. Right. It was the Ouroboros symbol, so it was showing that they were running the whole city.
Right.
It wasn't just they had a few people here and there; they were running the whole thing. So that was already a huge thing to leave off on for what you thought would never come for another season.
Definitely, and we're really hoping that they stick to the cliffhanger. There is a channel, there's a Twitter that's called Tiger and Bunny Season 2. And they give a lot of information. If you want to find them and you're a huge fan like we are, and follow them, and they'll give you updates on information, not only on the second season, but also on special releases and figurines and anything and everything connected to Tiger and Bunny.
Right.
And on that, one of their posts, we did see animation. And we saw that it looks a little different from what's on the picture. Mm-hmm. One thing that really stuck out is everyone has humongous feet.
Yeah, which was strange, because when you see the show and the Rising movie, even with the slight change, it wasn't really that much of a change. They just had sort of updated looks. But for here, it's like, what's with that?
But it may be preliminary. They may look nothing like this. This representation when it comes out, which a lot of shows do. Mm-hmm. They'll show you one thing when it comes out as something totally different. Mm-hmm. But we're really hoping they don't deviate too far from the animation. We know it's got to be newer because that was 2011. It's going to be 11 years later.
Right.
But we're hoping they don't deviate from the looks of the characters, from the voice actors. They're all still alive. Mm-hmm. So we hope that every single voice actor returns that was in it before. And we hope that there is a slight time jump. I would like to see a slight time jump, not a big one, but a slight one. Because when the show ended, the person who was he wasn't the head of it, but the person who was in charge of keeping Bunny
I guess
under control.
Yeah, and running Hero TV.
Right. He's gone. And
right.
That is definitely conveyed in the movie, The Rising. Right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, and that whole
Sorry
movie,
guys, I'm itchy.
and for that one, I guess I was supposed to be what would hold you down until season 2 eventually came.
Right.
So it came out like a couple of years after the original series ended. So people thought, oh, was this going to be a whole new thing into season 2? Well, it kind of is and kind of isn't. It's still one of those movies like what MHA has, where it's a self-contained movie. It's canon, but it doesn't interfere with the series for the season before or the season after, it's really self-contained, which may affect some people's viewing. Like, well, why doesn't it have something bigger or long-lasting on season 2? Well, because you don't know what you're gonna do for season 2. So they had their antagonists, and the antagonists just be for this movie, and that's it. But even with that, it was still really entertaining. The only thing that was kind of a little off was that you knew like maybe a year or two had passed since the show ended, and you could tell some of the characters are older, but they also had some new outfits on, and they're gonna have new outfits again.
And Bunny had a new hairstyle.
Yes.
Which was like, no, we'll go back to the feather.
Right. And we also saw a little bit of some of the designs they had for season 2, which were changed again, and they looked kind of weird. I think what worked best were the outfits they all had on in the first one. And with the Rising, I guess they wanted to update the look, and then they just looked wrong. They didn't look like the characters because they didn't have the little iconic outfits.
Right. One thing that we didn't know when we originally watched the series that we knew once we got to the Rising, and of course we'll know now season 2 is coming, that this takes place in an alternate universe in the 70s.
Right.
And so the clothing and things, we were like, wow, they really dress, the hairstyles and everything, and we didn't understand there was an alternate universe where it was 70s, but they had technology, and they had all these great skyscrapers and all the things of modern day, even though it was supposed to be in the 70s. But now we know that. So even if there's a time jump, we know that it's still going to be in the 70s, because when the original show aired, it was 72 in the alternate universe.
Right. Plus, we did see some things about some comics. It wasn't Jump Comics, it was stuff still from Viz Media and Sunrise Studios. The only things they had made before them was a manga based on the anime. It was supposed to be telling the story again, but instead of telling the story, point of view, the whole story was completely changed. It was called Tiger and Bunny, but really it was Bunny's story. It looks like this is what the studio wanted, but not the writer. So when they did this manga adaptation, they switched the roles. Tiger was barely part of the story, and it's focused more on Bunny and the other characters. Ouroboros really was after Bunny. He was actually getting leads. He was the one being hunted. The people were helping him, and Tiger didn't have too much of a role in that version, which was a little odd to see because he was the main character even when he wasn't the favorite in the beginning.
And it also wasn't enjoyable, honestly, because you didn't have the relationship that grows, you didn't have all the fun parts, and the things that happened in the anime, they just were completely removed from the manga, as if they were attempting to make it more of a drama rather than being a combination comedy, drama, superhero type of read like the anime was.
Right.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because in the first season, as you mentioned, Tiger wasn't the favorite for the producers of this anime, but for the fans, Tiger ended up being the favorite.
Right.
And in the movie, they gave acknowledgement to that in Heroes Rising.
Right.
And we kept thinking of MHA and was like, yeah, Koshi must have seen this.
Right.
But yeah, you finally got confirmation that Tiger mattered, and that people in Sternville really do value him as a superhero.
Right. And they adjusted it so now he had fans.
Yes, like he really does in real life.
Right, because he didn't have really any in the original series. They always called him the old man, and they didn't
no one buy his car.
Right, and then
even his own daughter was in love with Bunny.
Yeah, and he was just so depressed. So when they got to the Rising and we saw bonus features, the director had said they learned that Tiger was the most popular one, so they adapted to that. So they quit focusing so much on Bunny with that. They kind of divided it where it was some on Bunny, but majority of it was on Tiger, and they stopped writing where he kept getting bagged on and stuff, and gave him a bunch of fans. So we hope they keep that when they come back, because the audience is still there and those fans are still there. So just make sure you keep that, because if you go back to saying Bunny's a favorite, it's like, what did we just say?
Right. Now I'm wondering if we're going to see some more covert Ouroboros people that are exposed in season 2.
Yeah.
You know there've got to be more, since Maverick took himself out. We know there are more people.
Right.
There's got to be someone else. So I think there are going to be some more covert people that are exposed in season 2.
Right.
And if there aren't, then that means they've forgotten about the cliffhanger for season 1.
Right, just going with something else altogether. Another
I
thing.
wonder if it's going to be like in a lot of the shows we watch now, where it ends up being people that they trust.
Yeah, I'm thinking
I
that.
know Maverick was like that, but Maverick was only trusted by Bunny to the extent that he was trusted.
Right.
Are they going to have someone else here that all of the superheroes trust, and that the people of the city trust, and that's really looked up to, and in a billion years you wouldn't think this person is part of Ouroboros.
Right. Will be pretty interesting to see, because you've gotten used to pretty much all the characters, and each one proved their loyalty to each other, and being heroes and being friends, despite them being supposed to be competitors and everything. And even Agnes proved herself. So I do wonder how they will fit that into season 2. They just introduce all new characters and have you adjust them, and then you have to figure out which one is the
even
twist.
Golden Ryan in the movie turned out not to be so bad after all.
Right. And another thing they also have to put into season 2 is the foreshadowing showdown with Lunatic and Tiger.
Yes.
Because of their different mindsets on what justice is. And they've been really building up in the series a lot. They've come head to head a few times. There's always been a draw, but it's shown Tiger can beat him if he tries, and Lunatic could beat Tiger if he tries. So it sort of becomes almost evenly matched, and they kind of almost get there with The Rising. It was sort of like a preempture for it, where there wasn't really a clear winner. He just said, okay, I'm just gonna let you fall off. I thought you were better than this, but you're not. And because of how he sees justice, he wasn't just gonna let him get away with this guy killing off the new head of the studio. So it looks like maybe that's gonna come to a head with season 2, and given the new animations and stuff, it'll probably be even bigger than it was season 1, because that was a pretty interesting mini arc they had in there with their conflicting visions of justice.
Definitely. And I think we're gonna get to see some growth of Bunny with not only his teammates, but also with Tiger, because as we learned in the first season, he's an equivalent of the Batman story.
Right.
The parents are gone. Apparently they're showing no other family except for, as you mentioned, what was the lady's name who helped take care of him that they ended up taking out in season 1?
Oh, unfortunately the name isn't coming to me right now.
But her,
Yeah.
so she's gone, and Maverick, who
Samantha,
trusted,
that was her name.
Thank you. And Maverick, who he trusted, like Batman trusted Alfred, really was a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So now he doesn't have anyone else that he's had that relationship with since he was a child. Now walks in Tiger and the other teammates.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see how those relationships have grown, and how their friendship has grown, and where the friendship's going to be with each and every one of them when it returns. And I'm hoping there's going to be some fun, and
Yes.
you can see that a lot of the trust issues he had are gone. I know in Heroes Rising they did show a different relationship between them. He was more calm, he was more willing to listen to Tiger. There wasn't that animosity that there was in season 1. So
Right.
it should turn out to be really pleasant and really different how he relates to his teammates.
Right. And you also have to wonder, finally, is the theme, as you said. Will they keep it fun? Will they try to get more serious? Will they try to adapt to the superhero stuff being made now, or will they just stick to what they've been doing
And
all
will they
this
have
time?
more advertising?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yes. I do remember seeing that they got calls from other sponsors that want to be in the show for season 2 once they got renewed.
Here we'll get to see them this time.
Right. And they also it's supposed to be announcement for a live action movie, but it looks like that might not be coming out because the studio's supposed to do it kind of went bankrupt, so we don't know if someone else is going to pick up the film, or they're just going to say, hey, maybe we're not supposed to do it and just let it slide. And the other thing you got from the movie is that, from the plot line, was that Tiger was not going to be the veteran hero. He was still going to be popular. So we can't tell if that was the update for people that liked him, or they were trying to make him younger, or what. And that already was a warning sign. So we don't know what's going to happen with that movie at this point.
But, from the way when you're watching it, Bunny's in his 20s, and it seems that Tiger's in his 30s. And ribbing him as old man, he's probably only old enough to be his older brother. He's not old enough to be his dad. So it seemed to be like just a ribbing joke.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll keep that there, because if you make them closer in age, like they did on Attack on Titan by actually aging down Levi, which made absolutely no freaking sense, it's gonna destroy that part of their relationship where he could look up to him as someone who had some knowledge and experience and wisdom for him by the time we got to the movie.
Right.
But they also were friends.
Right.
And don't want to see that missing.
Right. And it also could be because Tiger's voice actor in Japan is older. He's in his 60s or 70s by now. So I think maybe that was a joke there specifically. The guy that did his voice was way older than the character, so they call him old man, and he was also in the business for 10 years. No one stuck around that long. That could be it too. But yeah, if they take that out, that part of the joke is gone.
Right. So if you're like us and you're big Tiger and Bunny fans and you're looking forward to season 2, let us know what you think in the comments below. What are you hoping to see? Do you agree with any of our predictions of what's going to happen? Do you have some of your own? Do you have any inside information that you want to give us?
Yeah.
We'd love to hear. Let us know in the comments below as well. And we're hoping that it's going to be on Netflix, since Netflix, as Rascal mentioned, had taken away the series, but now it's been back for a few months. We hope that's an indication that it's going to air on Netflix in America and around the world, so that all of us can get to see it, in addition to Japan.
Right. And be sure to like, subscribe, and notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and Little Paws videos.
Absolutely. And Tiger Money Season 2.
So thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.